versions of it. That way I can open
There
them.
are people who are like that too.
Yeah, well, then you have the,
Yeah.
and you also have the statues over there in the little cases, you know.
Those are actually
And I
the ones out of the boxes up
And
above.
I see the prices on them.
Well, they're limited. They're limited runs. That's what
Okay.
makes them. That's what makes them higher price.
Yeah,
like
that was my question.
And there
What's-
are some that do go up in value. I mean, Bowen statues I have a tendency to go up in price because of the fact that they are limited to 1,000 quantity. You know, things
Right.
like that. And they're the only ones that do Marvel statues. So you know
Right.
that's their contract.
Are they ceramic? Are they plastic? Are they? Or is it?
They're cold cast porcelain mostly. So
Okay.
and then hand painted. So I mean, there is craftsmanship in those still.
Right.
so.
Oh yeah. No. Understandably. How many comics do you have like in your shop? Like different titles are you carrying? right now?
Well, on our main wall, we have we have 300 titles on our main wall, and then we have racks with smaller titles. We're running probably close to about 450, 500 comics, different titles. So
And over along this wall here, those are the ones that.
those are the graphic novels and trade
Okay.
paperbacks, which are basically a collection of the floppies, which are the issues. They do them now as a story, usually 5 to 6 issues long.
So those are 5 or 6 stories in one.
5 or 6 floppies in one book. So it's a
Okay.
complete storyline
Okay.
in one. So you can either pick these up monthly, or you can wait, 7, 8 months and pick up the graphic novel, which would
Financially
have it all in
speaking,
there.
is it cheaper to buy one of those every couple of months, or is it cheaper to buy the books?
It depends on. I mean, it depends. It's roughly about the same price,
Really.
and maybe a couple dollars cheaper for the graphic. But the thing
So
is,
you're
you get the
just
whole,
saving on gas money.
you get the whole story like all at once. So you're not waiting. You don't have the anticipation of waiting the next month. Because I mean,
Right.
I like reading floppies because I love getting to the end
Yeah.
of the book and going, damn it, where's the next one?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
there was a time when New Avengers. I used to shop at Mr. Peterson's store, and New Avengers would come out when it first came out, and every month I'm like, just frustrated as hell because New Avengers would end on this giant cliffhanger every
Yeah.
issue, and I'd be like, I need the next one now. So
Yeah.
I mean, that was half the fun of reading comics.
So you've always been a fan of comic books, like since you were a kid growing up?
I had meningitis when I was 7 years old, and so I was stuck in the hospital for 2 weeks. And my father brought me probably about a stack of 100 different old
Wow.
school comic books. So I was in there, and that started my addiction. So,
Wow.
and yes, Wes, it is an addiction. It's called paper crack. And
Paper crack?
I am a paper
Love it.
crack. I am a paper crack dealer. You went from one addiction to a new.
Oh yeah, I
and
transferred absolutely.
that's totally what it's. So
Yeah, we mentioned that in last week's show that Wes is an avid comic book reader.
So
addict.
how
I
did
prefer
you
addicts.
how did you come into owning? You are the owner of this store.
Me and my business partner, yes. So
How did you come across? Is this a previously ran business?
no,
did
this
you start
was
it up?
this was when we started from scratch. We did take the name from the shop that I grew up in, and he sold them. The thing was he sold them to people, and I didn't like the feel of them after that. It wasn't as friendly. It wasn't that place that I grew up at, and they all changed their names, so the name became available. When we came to open the store, I went searching, and the name was free, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use that name. I'm going to give it the same feel that I had when I was going to a shop, where it was like, walk in, he knew your name, he, knew what you shopped for. He was a really nice guy. His name was Chris too. And, I loved the feel of his store, and much anymore. So this is kind of an homage to him and that kind of thing.
Cool.
So,
Very cool.
yeah, but no, I probably about 13 years old, I said I wanted to own a comic book shop. It took me until I was 34, but it was always in the back of my mind no matter what I was doing. But
So this is
finally
the
was
dream.
able to at 34 open my shop. So.
Very cool. You're living the dream.
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah.
And we mentioned that last week because we were supposed to do this interview like last week.
Sorry.
and- no.
A little hectic last week.
No, and you know what?
It was the
Like I said
whole
before,
free comic book day.
It was
Yeah.
totally insane, man. And when I walked in here, I walked around and I mentioned this last week on the show, the whole Big Bang Theory thing. When you watch it, and it's just like right off the set, like you walk in here and it was just you see these little stormtroopers walking around and you see all
Yeah.
this different, and it's like wow, it's like people are really really into this, like enthralled into it,
I talking to people last
Yeah,
week,
and
they
so
were.
it was like there was so many people and just so many things going on. I never realized just like how big this whole comic book world eels, you know.
Has it? It's grown. Has the 52 breathed life into it?
Yes.
The new 52.
Yes, I believe 52 has brought in a lot of readers that lapsed out. I believe it brought in a lot of new readers. You know, because to be honest with you, you know, DC gives us money to advertise, but you know, in order for me to advertise, it costs so much. With the 52, they started advertising on TV. They started advertising in movie theaters with their money, and you know, it's their product. They should be advertising it to begin with. I wholeheartedly believe in that. I mean, they should be doing national ads. They should be doing all this stuff, not leaving it up to us little shop owners
Right.
in there. I mean, we are the sellers of their product, but you don't see Toyota waiting for the dealers to advertise their product. You see Toyota putting commercials out. So, you know, the same concept for comic book publishers needs to be that same concept. And they're kind of stagnant in what they do, and yet they're forefront of the comic publishers, but they're stagnant in what they do. You know, it's like
Right.
it takes like yelling and going, "What are
Right.
you doing?" You know,
Right.
get them to actually, you know, go with it. You know, and they are a corporation, so you know it has to go through 50,000 channels. You know, it's Time Warner. They're huge, so they're going to take their time to make any decisions. But you know, they started advertising with the 52 on TV, which TV, movie theaters,
Absolutely.
billboards, everywhere, and that actually I think brought people into the shops. So, and not just mine, I mean, everybody that I talk to has been doing well because of 52. And the thing is, when one company does well, the other companies do well too, because people come in here for their 52, but I mean, as you see, our wall is 300 comics long. You know, it's going to give you a chance to walk through and look at other stuff. So you
There's
might see
something
something
for
that you're going to
everybody
pick it
here.
up.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And
Right.
vampires, there's TV genre, there's westerns, there's, you know, what is it, war
I see
stories.
the Archies over
Yeah,
here
there's
too.
even Archie. You know,
Yeah.
Archie's one. You know, been around forever and a day, and they're still the same
Right.
characters. You know,
And the cool thing is, one thing I noticed in the new 52 that you wouldn't have expected, like when I was growing up, it was like a telephone booth was popular. Now it's like you're seeing
cell phones,
the
pagers.
iPad
Yep.
is the front page
Yep.
of certain comic books, like
Yep.
like the news release
Yep.
is a picture on an iPad that you're looking at.
Absolutely.
So
They totally have modernized the comic books so that we get it. They're living in our world now, and that's what's always made comics popular was, that's why Marvel was so popular, because they're in New York, in the middle of New York doing their thing, and you could see it, you'd see them swing by a building, you're like, I'd building it,
Right, right.
and like now you're saying, oh, I have that iPad, or stuff like
Right.
that, so I mean, it's all
So they're keeping with the times.
exactly, which
and
is
socially
you
too,
know,
isn't there a new gay character in Archie?
There, oh yeah, Kevin Keller. Yeah, he actually has his own comic book. We'll see where it goes. I applaud them for doing it. but,
Absolutely.
the fact that I think it's going to be a hard sell because Archie isn't a real top of the line comic book.
Right.
But he's
And-
been
and
around forever.
Kevin Keller has. They just
Ever.
they changed his background to being gay.
So tell us about Free Comic Book Day.
Well, it's a national event. It's in its 11th. Well, it's going to be in its 12th. Basically, the publishers create comic books that are available for shops to buy and give out for free at a highly discounted price. They're usually sample stories of stuff that's coming out or currently out to kind of give everybody a little taste so they can try something new maybe, or pick up something that they haven't ever tried. We go a little bit above and beyond everybody. We kind of take over the parking lot and create this huge event.
That's an understatement when you say that.
No
Create
kidding.
this huge
There must have
event.
been like 200-300 people when I came in.
We
towards
were
the end of the day.
we were actually, our total numbers were a little over 3,200, and it was
Wow.
Wow.
3,200?
yeah. And
Wow.
we actually set to close at 4:00. I had to put a cap at the end of the line at 4:00, and those people didn't actually get into the store till 5:30 to get their comic books. The line was that long. So.
Now, was it a coincidence that it fell on your 6-year anniversary?
No,
Was-
we actually
or-
opened on Free Comic Book Day
Oh,
6 years
okay.
ago.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So that
I
was
mean,
that was the
it
plan.
gave us an initial hit of new customers because we were on the Free Comic Book Day website, and we handed out flyers saying Free Comic Book Day. We had a big banner, balloons,
Right.
sign twirlers, a whole bit like that.
It's like getting divorced on Valentine's Day.
well, yeah.
I
We had a
think.
bunch of tents out there too with people signing stuff.
Yeah, we
and
actually
giving away
invite
stuff.
creators out to do signings. We're kind of star starved. Yeah, star starved here in the Inland Empire. So I mean, it's like we're 40 minutes from LA.
Yeah.
And to have creators drive 40 minutes eastbound is like, unless they're going to Vegas, it's like you might as well ask them to fly across the
You
world.
did get
So-
people to come out though.
We do. I beg, borrow, steal, annoy, pester, stalk, anything I have to get them out here.
Right.
And the guys are really nice. They love coming out. They love seeing fans. So I mean, we get a pretty good cadre. We had about 40 different creators out here for Free
Wow.
Comic Book Day. We had Stormtroopers. We had
Yeah.
GI
Yeah.
Joe. We had a Blood Drive. We had a Zombies versus
Had a very-
Fanboys dunk booth.
I had a very sexy. What was she?
GI Joe.
GI
Oh,
Joe
yeah,
Cobra
yeah, yeah.
Commander.
Cobra Commander?
We
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
let's see, we had two different mainstream publishers. You had Boom Studios and Aspen that made a showing this year. We also had two smaller indie guys, Semantic
Indie.
and
That's
Independent.
Independent. the short for
Independent.
Okay.
They were Semantic and Forbidden Panel. So they're good guys. They brought their entire crews out, so that was
Right.
nice.
Because now the average person, when you first look at a comic, you just look at it and it's like, it's no big deal. But for someone who's a fan and so a collector or whatnot, there's more to it. You're getting into the artistry of it. You're getting into the punchlines of it. You're getting into all this stuff. You know what I mean? So
Well, and that's part of the thing. It's eventually reader, even just a casual reader. If you start reading, you're gonna find artists that you like.
Yeah.
And you'll
Right.
follow that artist
Yeah.
from book to
Right.
book. I mean,
Right.
I've gotten away from collecting comic books themselves, and I'm more trying to start collecting
I
original
think
art.
you have a collection.
Exactly. I get to read what I want.
Have a collection, Chris.
There's certain ones that I'll pick up, but the vast
Right.
majority, I'm starting to try to get away from the actual books and go more into the artwork.
Right.
So
you
I
gotta-
personally like Todd McFarlane. Capullo, he's got
Oh,
amazing.
Capullo, I am
art.
going to work my ass off to get Greg Capullo here for next year's Free Comic Book Day. That is one of my goals. I pick a person every year, and it's like I focus on that person.
And
That'd
he's
be
the artist
amazing,
for what
man.
comic?
Batman. So
Batman.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
God, yes.
So
and I
good.
have a couple
would be
people.
like a free-
I have a couple people who come out for Free Comic Book Day that know him. So
Really?
and I talked to him. No, I didn't talk to him. It was actually Rick Remender.
Really?
Or emailed and back and forth. That Rick, I'm working on for this year too. I mean, there's a few people I'm working on.
So that would be your dream gig for.
No, my 10th anniversary of my dream gig. I'm working on. I've already started planning on that one. So
Okay.
that's going to be our biggest one. So hopefully that'll be like, holy crap, so many people. So
But when you look at it, when you walk in here, people see all this stuff and you know.
I'm a little
But
overwhelmed.
it's not that it's overwhelmed, but to you, it's not just fun, but you took
dollars.
something that you loved, and that exactly. I mean,
dollars.
it's a business to you.
You
It's a
have to
business.
run
When
it
it comes
as-
down at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yes, you have to run it as a business first. If you run it as a
Right.
hobby, you will run it into the ground.
Right.
Because I mean, there are 10 items in this store that are not for sale.
Right.
And that's it. Everything else, you make me a good enough offer on it, I'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
Did you
Okay.
sacrifice your own collection?
Yeah, I did partially when we first opened for back issues. I kept a lot of stuff, but I went through and pulled a lot out. It's part of what it is, That's why I don't take anything home anymore. It's just,
Right.
number one, if I took stuff home, I'd end up, 3 rooms full of comic books, and it's like
Right.
I don't need that. I
Box
read
on
what
top
I
of
read it.
boxes.
I read it. That's what I need to read. I got the story in my head. If it's something that's
Right.
collectible, that I know would probably end up being a little bit more money, I think that I'll hold on to that. I'll take one copy home or something like that.
Right.
But the vast majority of modern comics right now aren't hardcore collectibles to hold on to. They
Right.
are hot and heavy quickly, but if you don't turn and burn it fast, you're going to end up owning it and not having all the money you think you're going to make.
Right.
And my biggest thing is variants. If I see a variant that I like or that's super rare, that's
What is a
something I'll take.
variant? What was that?
Well,
What's
basically,
that?
for some specific do is they'll print 1 in 200. So for every 200 of the regular cover, they'll print a variant cover.
Oh, okay.
things
Yeah,
like
that's what
that.
you were showing me the one
Right.
time. I remember.
So I
that.
mean,
You
those are
showed me,
those are the
okay.
kind of things that those are the things I collect now. I don't collect the regular covers.
Right. You collect the rare.
Every
the
so
rare.
often, DC, if you go to Summit or something like that, they'll send a retailer summit, a retailer variant, which is something that only people
Wow.
who participate in do. Like there's a Justice League one, there's stuff like that. So I mean,
Right.
those are the things that I hold on to because those are mine. And then if I get things signed,
Yeah.
I don't like selling signed stuff.
Right.
Number one, you don't know who signed it. I know who signed it, but you as a customer, you're taking my word for it.
Right.
And CGC won't take it as a